Carry champion as it pertains to your Lakers.
Thank you.
It is a 50-50 shot, 50-50, that Dwight Howard is going to leave the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow.
He has not made up his mind, but he is leaning towards it. According to my sources, he has spoken to James Harden quite often. Wow. They obviously are very cool with one another, but they are speaking to one another. I had one source tell me practically every day. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I haven't spoken to either player, but I'm telling you what is being said. That Dwight Howard obviously would love to be in L.A. because it's Hollywood, because it's a major market, because of the opportunities outside basketball that it would accord him. But he's not too enamored by continuing to play for Coach Mike D'Antoni. And as long as the Lakers are steadfast in their position, that Mike D'Antoni stays on as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, then Howard is going to be anything but steadfast in his willingness to commit to the Los Angeles Lakers, which brings Houston into the equation. He looks at James Harden. We all know that James Harden has emerged as a star in this league, tinkering towards superstar status. We all know that Chandler Parsons, I must admit, can play this game far better than I thought he could. And when you've got Omar Ashik, who came over from the Bulls, providing muscle on that front line, then you've got the kind of help that Dwight Howard would like to have, sans the stress, without the stress of being in L.A., you know, the purple and gold, with the expectations of championship draped all over his broad shoulders. It is something he is strongly, strongly considering. And right now, I think anybody who would say it's better than a 50-50 proposition that he's going to return to the Lakers are simply either just thinking about the additional 27 to 28 million he could get from the Lakers in a long-term deal, or they're simply oblivious to what's going on in the world of Dwight Howard. Nobody definitively knows, because he doesn't definitively know, Skip, because he is completely and totally up in the air about Houston to L.A., especially when you consider the fact that Houston would be willing to sign him to a 3-year deal. Then he could re-up for the max, which would offset the money that he would lose by leaving L.A. to go to Houston.
Okay, and there's the state income tax.
That's the situation.
In. Okay, I love it.
Yes.
Carrie Champion, Miss Champion, is applauding over here because I think she's probably seen enough of Dwight as a Laker, if I know Carrie Champion, which leads to my view of this from the start, Stephen A. If Dwight Howard recommits long-term to the L.A. Lakers, he will increasingly be blamed for the failure of the Jim Buss-run Lakers. It's no place for a guy who's built like Dwight Howard. He belongs in Houston with James Harden and Ashik and a young upcoming team. He would be perfect there, Stephen A., for a little less money that they could recompensate, as you say, later for. That team would immediately be a contender to win the West with Dwight Howard. Wouldn't you agree?
You're right about that, Skip, but the only thing that I would caution you to think about is you feel that way primarily. It's not the only reason, but you feel that way primarily because of the state the Lakers are in.
Sure.
But there's a power struggle, from what I'm being told, that's going on. And let's just say hypothetically, if Jim Buss is removed from the equation and Jeannie Buss is elevated in the equation.
That was my next question to you, Stephen A.
Phil is a factor.
Okay.
Phil is a factor.
Oh,
I
wait.
mean,
So
we don't know.
Stephen
Phil
A.
has said, Phil told Mike and Mike, hold on. Phil told Mike and Mike he really isn't interested in coming back. I beg to differ because I believe in the power of a woman, and Jeannie Buss is his woman.
This is true.
But what if Phil has some influence, and then all of a sudden Brian Shaw is the guy that's brought in? This is all assumptions, no doubt.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff, if that happens,
I know.
then all of a sudden we're talking about a different situation.
Look, we got to move on, but let me ask you this question quickly. So if, in fact, that is, let's take all your assumptions into play. Say they know now Dwight's really thinking about leaving. You think they'll make that change?
They
Is he
know.
that key?
Well, that's a tough one because Mitch Kupchak has been on the record saying they don't make decisions based on player desires.
Okay.
They run the organization, the players play. But you also have to keep in mind, this is what makes Houston lethal. He can leave LA high and dry for Houston. They brought up Golden State. You've been hearing Golden State's name mentioned over the last week and a half. Well, in order to get a deal done, that will require a sign and trade, which would mean the Lakers would have to be participants in all of that to get an Andrew Bogut approaching the last year of his deal, along with a Harrison Barnes or a Klay Thompson. But if you're Houston, you don't need LA's help to get Dwight. All you need to do is convince Dwight to leave, and you can sign him. That's the difference.